Okay, how's everybody doing? I'm doing fine. I'm just seeing how energy proves that there's a infinite potential, which is God, the definition of God. That's how God is defined, as an infinite potential, all-knowing, all-powerful, eternal. So, and that was goat herders that came up with that. So they're light years ahead of scientists today. So energy has properties, and according to the laws of the universe, is that energy cannot make itself, it cannot order itself. So that means it has to come from something greater than itself. You have to understand that it can't come from less and less energy. It can't come from an equal amount of energy. It has to come from something greater than itself, and greater than itself, and greater, until you arrive at an infinite potential. So energy is the evidence of God. Period. It's not only is there all of creation for you to see that there's a creator of everything there is, because everything is made to be an essential working part. Basically, at least the most common elements are made to be essential working parts, and it's programmed, it's concatenated, it's sequenced, it's ordered, it's directed, so that everything is what it's made to be. It's ordered to be, and it can't be anything other than what it has information to be. Aside from all that, energy itself is evidence of God. So I don't even know why this thing is making so much noise here. Hold on a second. So if anybody wants to discuss something, or maybe put your insight into the picture. I was discussing with somebody just a few minutes ago. I forget who it is, but it was saying that the Hawking radiation is proof that energy or matter, energy particles can come from basically thin air, nothing. And I'm trying to explain, no, it's coming from an existing universe of energy, of potential, and it's minimal. The Hawking radiation is so small, it's almost insignificant, except for the huge amount of mass and matter that's in a black hole. Then it amounts to something compared relative to us. But it's not coming from nowhere, it's coming from somewhere. It's coming from an existing universe. And it's radiation from existing matter, is what it is. And that's all it is. It's entropy. It's entropy. That's all it is. It's part of the law of thermodynamics, showing that energy goes from order to disorder. In other words, it's going to disorder. It's spreading out. It's radiating. It's radiating particles from existing matter. It's not coming from thin air. It's not coming from nothing. It's coming from existing matter. It's and matter itself only exists because of the energy, and that's just the radiation of the energy. That's all that is. That's all Hawking radiation is radiation of existing energy. That's all that is. Because it takes energy to make the matter. And you can't have gravity, like Stephen Hawking said. He says the universe can exist because of gravity. Gravity of what gravity? There is no gravity. Without matter, there's no gravity. You have to have matter first, and you need energy to make matter, and energy comes from a greater and greater source of energy, comes from an infinite potential, because energy can't make itself, it can't order itself. And the universe that we exist in today is a universe of ordered energy, and energy can't order itself. And we're going from order to disorder. Hawking radiation is exactly that. It's going to disorder. It's going from an ordered state, a bunched up state, a wound up state, to disorder, to being unwound, to being spread out. It's, it's the law of thermodynamics. It's the entropy of ordered energy. So it's not really that complicated. It's not complicated. Energy itself, energy alone, proves infinite potential. Because energy can't come from less and less energy. It can't come from an equal amount of energy. It has to come from an infinite potential, a greater and greater source of energy, which is telling you that God is infinite. It tells you that God is all powerful. It tells you that God is all wise, all knowing with the universe that He made. Because it's not just energy, it's directed energy, it's ordered energy, it's programmed energy. It's directed, it's concatenated, it's sequenced. And no physical thing is able to do any such thing. It can't even start to program a living organism because it'll fall apart before it ever puts itself together, supposedly put itself together. I mean, the math is too extreme for something to make itself in any amount of time, because it would fall apart. It'll fall apart before it ever puts itself together, if you can understand that. It would take 20 billion years to make a single protein of 400 amino acids. And you know a protein of 400 amino acid is not going to hang around for 20 billion years. Can you understand that? It's not going to work. No amount of time will ever be enough to make any directed working thing. Let's see, it's Groot. The guy I was talking to is Groot. They don't know where the energy came from. It came from a black hole. The energy came from a black hole. He says they don't know where the energy came from. I gave him a link to join, but I guess he's not interested, or he hasn't joined yet anyways. So, yeah, it's coming from existing energy. That's all it is entropy. And I already told him it's entropy. It's entropy of an existing universe. The universe is already there. It's Hawking radiation. It's not coming from nowhere. It's coming from an existing source of energy, matter, an existing black hole. It's entropy. It's going from order to disorder, from an ordered state to a disordered state. That's all it is. It's radiation. Radiation is entropy. And it's a very, very small amount to begin with. And all it's showing is entropy. It's not showing that matter can He's trying to say matter can spontaneously make itself come into existence, which is it's laughable. It's laughable. No, it's not coming into existence. It's radiating from an existing source of matter. It's not complicated. It's not as complicated as you want. Of course, he's only repeating. He's only parroting what scientists say. You know, quote unquote scientists are saying, "Oh, you can get matter from nothing. You can get particles from nowhere." No, you can't. You're getting particles from an existing source of matter. And if you only took 2 minutes to think about it, you would see that. You wouldn't be saying such nonsense. Wouldn't be speaking so much nonsense. It's really quite simple. The matter of a black hole had to have been forced to exist by energy, a source of energy. And that energy comes from a greater source of energy. See, that's the creation. The universe is God showing His power to us. It's God showing how much power He has, and His power is infinite. A single black hole shows His power. A single atom shows His power, because that energy to make that atom did not come from an equal amount of energy, because energy can't make itself, it can't order itself. Since energy can't make itself, it has to come from a greater and greater source. It doesn't come from a lesser and lesser source of energy. It comes from a greater and greater source. It comes from an infinite potential, because it can't make itself. It's a law of science. Energy cannot make itself. It cannot order itself. So since energy cannot make itself, it didn't come from an equal amount of energy, because that equal amount of energy can't make itself. It has to come from a greater and greater source of energy. It has to come from an infinite potential of energy. Infinite. Infinite. It's what the goat herders were trying to tell you thousands and thousands of years ago. Thousands of years ago, the goat herders were saying that God is all-knowing, all-powerful, and above every other power, every other God, every other source of energy. God is over all. You know, all you have to do is spend 2 minutes thinking about it, and you can figure it out. But I guess nobody, if somebody clicks on the link, I have the link in the description, and I'll put it back in there if it's not in there when I end this live stream. But it's so not complicated. Energy alone proves the existence of God, an infinite potential, which is God. And all you have to do is look at the evidence. Creation is evident.